Well, I must say it's a little fortuitous that the week of our video introduction fell on the same week that we planned a vacation a year ago, but here goes, live from Costa Rica. This is Hunter Lewis.
Hey there. Well, first off, I'd like to thank you for listening to my 5-minute video. It seems in 2017 listening to 5 minutes of just about anything can be fairly trying, let alone from the single human. So thanks in advance for that. Well, where do we start? I grew up in Louisville, Kentucky, home of the bluegrass, horses, and bourbon, all three things that I like. And I went to a K-12 school there called Kentucky Country Day. We were the Mighty Mighty Bearcats. There I spent time studying, playing soccer, wrestling, and kicking for the football team. Actually, one time I ran a shot right up the center's rear, but that's for another story. While in high school, I became interested in firefighting. I had a cousin who once sped off from a dinner party in his Honda Civic that had a light bar affixed firmly to the top of it, lights and sirens, off he went, and I was hooked at that point. I ended up firefighting all through high school and eventually into college, and totaled for about 9 years, which was part of the reason why I probably ended up in emergency medicine. After high school, I headed off to Charlottesville, Virginia for college. There, I joined the Charlottesville Fire Department, as I mentioned, became interested in the honor committee while I was studying psychology there. I know what you're thinking. And I eventually served as vice chair of the honor system there in my last year in 1998. In 1998, I also became interested in emergency services and got my EMT-B certificate at Rockfish Gap Rescue Squad, which is about 20 minutes outside of downtown Charlottesville. That also helped cement my future as an emergency physician early on while at Virginia. After Virginia, I came home to take a class in biochemistry to pad up my resume a little bit to try to get into medical school. I eventually was accepted the following summer to the University of Louisville, where I matriculated for 4 years. After medical school, I matched in a wonderful program in Columbia, South Carolina at Palmetto Health, Richland. There I spent 3 years learning emergency medicine and eventually went on to complete a 1-year fellowship in emergency ultrasound. If you didn't know, a lot of emergency physicians nowadays are using emergency ultrasound at the bedside to diagnose conditions like a rupturing aorta, heart attacks, and using ultrasound for different procedures like performing a spinal tap and helping with localization on obtaining IV lines. It's revolutionized our ability to be more safe in placing large central lines that you might need if you were headed to the ICU. I've been fascinated with ultrasound now for about 10 years, and I'm serving as the Roper Emergency Department Ultrasound Director at Roper Downtown, Roper Mount Pleasant, and Roper Northwoods currently. After fellowship, I was very lucky to get a position in Charleston with Roper Emergency Physicians. They are a group that contracts with the hospital and have done so for about 25 years. I've now been with them for 10 years and took over as the managing partner about 2 years ago, which has been really, really exciting. One of the reasons why I'm taking the MBA is to hone my skills in order to better serve my group of 21 emergency physicians and 7 PAs. Another opportunity that I've been involved in that's been a lot of fun is a company called Shift Admin. Shift Admin was started by my ultrasound fellowship director, and I became involved while in fellowship, as you can imagine. And it is an online schedule management and schedule generation platform for providers. So those in emergency medicine, radiology, anesthesia, where the providers mainly do shift work, you can take their parameters that they need to have happen in a schedule, plug it into the algorithm, and it will actually create a schedule for you. In this role, I've been mainly doing a lot of sales as well as some business development and marketing with Google Ads and Bing Ads. It's been a lot of fun. At the same time that I came to Charleston in 2007, another wonderful thing happened to me. I began dating the girl that I eventually married in 2010. We now have 2 beautiful children, Hunter, who is 4, and Finn, who will be 3 in about 6 days. And we've got a great dog named Scout. Scout has been wonderful not only for Megan and me, but also for the boys, and she's a wonderful, wonderful hunting companion. I have a bunch of hobbies, some of which are kind of crazy, I realize, but my favorite one's probably taking 4-wheel drive trucks over technical terrain in the woods and mountains of North Carolina. I have an old beat-up Land Rover that I use that's lifted and made for going over boulders. And usually I'll break something on the trail, and then I like to bring it home and fix it myself. I like doing anything outside pretty much. I love boating, kite surfing, snowboarding, swimming, and I do a little bit of hunting with my dog. So what's next? It's hard to say. I'm looking forward to finishing the MBA in a few years. And as you know, healthcare in America is in quite a bit of a crunch. I look forward to working with our administration in order to bring the highest quality, safest practice for our patients to the Low Country at the lowest cost. Thanks again so much for listening to my 5 minutes, which I probably bled over quite a bit, presentation, and I look forward to meeting each of you hopefully in the future. Thanks.